What is up, guys? Fonzarelli Fell-Handed. Today we have some footage here of the Pensacola, aka the Pepsi-Cola Tier 5 American Cruiser. Now, I had a lot of folks saying this ship was not awesome. More than that, I had them saying it was a floating pile of failure. So I was a little apprehensive about getting this, but, you know, my primary motive was, hey, it looks cool. It's got, you know, super firing guns front and rear. It looks awesome. So let's get it. Let's see what happens. I picked this and the Aoba up at the same time. So, I have a good comparison. It does not have torpedoes, but it does have a very, very high firing arc. Not necessarily like the Atlanta, but you can really rain some shots down on some targets right there. As you can see there, we set that gentleman on fire already, and we're trying to ease some up over the hill right there. We're taking a little bit of rounds. We're trying to go ahead and start turning. We do have a gentleman here out in the distance. Unfortunately, we do have high X loaded. I like to try to put AP in the side of other cruisers if I can get some decent shots. As you can see here, these shots are far from decent. But you know what? We're gonna do what we can, see if we can't possibly put some damage down on target. We're still firing over this hill here on this island, which is more or less your SOP for cruisers, realistically, because a lot of them don't have a super high amount of armor, and that's kind of what we're looking at right here. And we're in a good position, and this is kind of why I decided to hold on this position, because we're firing over a hill. We've got good shots on target, and we have a modicum of cover here if anything kind of goes south. You do have to kind of keep your head on a swivel, because your cruisers aren't going to have ridiculous gun range like your battleships. So if you are posted up behind an island, it is very feasible that you can get flanked, and you not even be paying attention, because you're so focused on trying to burn somebody down that New York or Mexico or whatever just comes around the corner 10, 12, 14 clicks out and lays hatred to you. As you can see right there, we have multiple bad guys here moving in on our location, so we went ahead and kicked the engines, and we're trying to get out of the way here. And that's something I've kind of started doing. If I'm stationary and I'm posted up behind an island, a lot of times instead of going forwards, I'll go backwards, or whatever way I think the enemy would think I would go. I try to do the opposite, and that's just general good, boating when you think about it. You never want to make yourself an easy target. So we're going to go ahead, go all ahead full, and throw the rudder over there to the left, and we still want to keep our guns on target, but at the same time, we want to be able to angle up if we're going to take some return fire. And not necessarily angling up, because you don't really want to try to bounce rounds with this ship, but if you are going directly towards or directly away from them, whatever enemy you have, you're going to reduce your profile. And that's what's important here, and that's what we're doing. We are trying to turn a little bit here just to get some guns on target, but when you are being fired upon, that's kind of the best scenario when you're dealing with, the Pepsi-Cola. Now, granted, the Aoba is a little bit of a different animal, because it's tough, it's strong, it's a good ship, and it's very hard to citadel. The Pepsi-Cola, however, does not have that. But the Pepsi-Cola, I feel, is a little bit better armed with the 4 guns versus the Aoba's 3. However, it doesn't have torps. So it's very difficult to compare the two ships, because they're really nothing alike one another. I mean, they're both cruisers. That's about it. But moving on here, as you can see, we're at a very, very long range here. Long range to engage anybody. And the idea is, the reason I like to try to stay at long range with the Pepsi-Cola is because when I see them fire, it gives me time to maneuver. We've got, boosted rudder shift on this particular vessel, and you know, like I said, when the rounds come in, we're not trying to angle up. We're trying to, you know, literally either be bow in or aft in order to minimize the profile. Because you're going to get hit. You just want to minimize the damage, if you catch my drift. And, you know, you may bounce some AP from a DD or what have you. But, you know, if they're shooting AP at you and, you know, you don't have a really punchy captain like Anton Gurin, then you're kind of doing it wrong. We go ahead and remove that gentleman off the map. We do have a DD down here. Looks like a Mahan. We're going to try to put some rounds on him. He really walloped us good right there. Looks like we ended up leading him a little too much. And it looks like also we're taking some fire from someone else as well. But either way, you have to be very cautious when you're attacking a cruiser with a DD. It's a very situational scenario at best, because, you know, they have so many guns. I mean, even if you're talking the Tier 4 Omaha, that thing would just absolutely annihilate you. I mean, it's got the DPM, what have you. I mean, they're only going to miss so much, just like me. I mean, you know, only going to miss so much. And that's, you know, the bottom line there. I mean, you know, the pain is coming. You just need to go ahead and get them down there before they can make it happen. But, you know, in going from the Omaha to the Pensacola, I have noticed that, you know, you obviously have tons of less guns. You've only got 4 versus the Omaha's, you know, million. The DPM is definitely very, very different. The gun traverse is very, very different. But Pensacola, once again, looks like a baby battleship. It looks like a battle cruiser. And this thing can really, really bring some pain to bear. You just kind of have to, you know, keep moving, use the islands, much like any other cruiser. I see so many Omahas and Pepsi Colas and Fur Tacos and everything just riding through the open, not maneuvering straight line, or worse yet, you know, stationary firing at someone. So you definitely kind of have to keep moving. You have to keep things going. We only had 2 rounds make it through to that gentleman over there. We're going to see if we can pull some reverse here and possibly get some more rounds on target. You know, 65,000 damage. We've had a very, very good game so far. We got about half of our aft guns through that little gap right there. But now we should be fine to go ahead and do some serious gun work on this gentleman right here. And we're not necessarily planning to go in here and absolutely shut him down like a BB would, but at the same time we plan to nickel and dime him throughout the entire time. 5K right there on that shot. Not a bad shot at all. We're going to go ahead and run the guns here on him again. 70,000 damage so far. Seeing if we can get it up a little higher. There's another 5K. So 10,000 damage in 2 salvos is not bad. I mean, granted, you know, it's all about your targets being in the right area. It's all about right place at the right time, and that's for any time you do a lot of damage. Now, the reason I was talking about, you know, being in good cover from one location and being in bad cover from another and getting flanked is because that is exactly what happens on this map. While I'm trying to work over this gentleman, there's another BB who is pushing up on my location. So we're going to try to, you know, shift back here out of this AO and put some rounds on him. Man, he has full health. This is not a good look for me at all. But the good news is he's the last one on the map. We have plenty of backup here. We're going to attempt to kind of shift the rudder back up around the corner and possibly put some rounds on him as he comes around the corner. But, you know, this is the type of situation where if he gets one good shot at me, I am screwed. Now, I think he is too close to that side of the island to properly get shots off, because it seems like some of the BB's gun arcs are very, very flat. We're going to see if we just can't maybe farm him as he bends this corner here a little bit. We still got guns on him. But we need to start cutting our rudder really soon, because we kind of want to follow the front end of the island and, you know, maintain that somewhat element of cover, if you will. And hopefully what we're going to do is continue making things happen until the rest of the team gets in there and kind of draws fire. There we go. Got a little medal right there. Up to 90k. Oh, here comes the hatred. Our death was riding on those shells right there. Any one of those rounds hit me, it would have been over. But you know what? The finesse father does his thing, and we got him burning now. Maybe not us. Somebody's got him burning. I don't know at this point. We're going to continue to put rounds on him. As you can see there, I'm backing him off the camera, making sure I can still maintain some decent fire on him and steer at the same time. Maybe one or two made it over. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, look at that. Most of them made it over. So we did, manage to sneak some over the top of the hill there. And that's fine. That's, once again, you have to have that arcing gun arc. And the downside of arcing gun arcs is sometimes it does make it difficult for you to realize, when you're hitting, when you're missing, so on and so forth. The Atlanta, for example, you can have 3 sets of shells in the air at the same time, and if you're missing, you're going to miss with all 3. The DPM's just so solid. I mean, granted, the DPM on this one is, the Pensacola, is not amazing, but it does have massive guns, or at least aside from a battleship. Not necessarily battleship size, but good for a cruiser. Let's put it that way. I had a very good game here. Probably one of the first 5 games I've played. 112,000 damage in the Pensacola. Really enjoyed it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification button. If you guys have any requests, please let me know. Check the description box below for any other additional info. We will see you guys in the next video.